chest, this one handling, clutching at the fruitions of your spin. Just drawn to me, hope to be pleasure. The pitiful beast that is within the grow longer than for the hunting. You're shivering over your own angel for darkness. Leaning me over close to the light, heavens of the part beneath the skin. Translucent ache of atmosphere breathing in the tide. She parts to see me through. Here and cresting and emerging in your atmosphere, they're resilient enough for the sweat off of your enlightenment, and still behold. Love me death, starless night, between weeping in the willows of the heightened silence of this fade rayed tales of the love of the ever plight. Your deep shadows for to become, with a veil for the taking off of yourself slow, for the sorrow to shroud the dim to the gaze of grief on arrow, for the silent tears for the heaven to bow to love and death into darkness of over the heartless beats and the echo without the midnight of gloom. With a mist of the fate and embrace that merry tomb. Or lovers embrace the fleeting bloom, this time listen to beyond the life's bloom. You finding love, wandering in the silent, the wonders never the frail and far to find echoes of the lingering over the gale. Love, Ming, more full tale, you behold, truth. But it was not heard. But more absurd than this note, it was more than fiction and letter to get together for the can't be found this sharing. Go for your time for the lonely tale of fading away. Forever united underground for the eternity without for you, and half of the shoulder time for the dead stop. This would seem to be short enough that you could be never ending in overtime. And it would soon fade away. And what was once filled to floor band and is now burned with aggressive sending of the flames, passion burned, and its fire searching for their own self-worth. This through the fire felt the burn for the made it out for this your turn now rising over the embers and the same my name, and this is to be the time for the best for your own game. Planet flowers for the bloom, this groove flower now is in hand, and this is final black and white time for the rage of this life beneath the skin. And there for the soul that breaking within for the sense of this warm face, this found flame bloom found over the darkness and can't be found. This still be humming of the wind paths where the quiet leads. And then you can find a flyer for the unaware, for this is still you soon standing there, for the feeling your stillness and for your song, for the know the found that is where it belong. And the plains with the path me by, for this rushing sky to stay will know truth will keep you solid and open. One day you will see that my heart and mind is open for it to be divinity. Sitting among people walking around really is it me for this illusion that mine or see the several all alone for the forging and building home for the same the random piece of the pottery for you can be holding. The sky is plain white or anyone that knows to say for this to be the mediocre fella failing over with the talking to a stranger for the message I can found a fair care for what it would say. Where the demon would never be straight can demonstrate this beneath the sky, the thickest stars who wander for the place and unscattered for the wild, the mild, small, imaginary, ordinary thing for the together for the not the drifter to return. Waves of the mirroring and the same to find a safe to stay on for the leaving a place in which the next tide won't wait the way. Where the quiet hours for the answers and the mind, the metal for the question over the love that goes in where the feather leaves and rests and is not to roam. Left in the silence and this is full of echoes and the laughter that you heard it through a note. And emerge from the heart for the essence of soul. Gatherers for the shard of find returning and to finally hold yourself with the piercing through with the warm and bright this down to turn strange and this permit from with the feeling the right to this emerge. They call it what you call a riddle with the railing of feeling and things this ungifted or unwanted. Realizing everything, knowing the strings and learning how to play in this all above, as below. To rise above, from below. Unshackled with the change behind the being divine to me for the releasing of the toxins and experimental for the other for the flash of light to clear the mirage and if to find that surprised by the reality of it was so far. Clarity for the truth in which you are now free from the fire within. And I am able to walk away from the illusion of leaving behind you what you find periodically for the lightest and this to be in years this to find weightless and for the burden over the gravity. Now I can only hold myself for the new beginning for the leaving you now.
Were you born as a Rasta?
Were you born as a Rasta? Or how did that evolve?
Well, I figure I was born, and then born and growing. There was a certain amount of consciousness in myself that, it was always a lonely world, not finding people who might think like me,
Yeah.
Not to say that I think so different, but because this consciousness about God and the people who come from is more Christian, We always try to stand up not right. But we used to find out now that one church quarreling against the next church, and I figure I never want any of that, I never want really enter anything where this one I fight against that one and everybody talking about God still. So if I'm going on, I'm coming up, The thing that was there get more stronger. Come to Kingston, meet some more people. Them people is Rasta. You talk to them and find out it's the same thing we have inside. It's the same thing.
How old were you when this started to happen?
This is about 17, 18, I find out that the same thing when I deal with is the same thing where the Rasta man talk about. So that is how I could identify myself as a Rasta. By not changing.
Something, brother. Don't you lose hope. Get some hope. But if you give up because you had a setback, you'll never win. Nobody goes forward in warfare and doesn't have to make a retreat, a strategic retreat, to develop where they were weak to come back strong. But when you give up and punk out, there's no hope for us. Stop it. There's always hope.
Against prayer. Because I'm against begging. I'm against prayer because there is nobody in the sky to answer your prayer. You are simply wasting your time. Not only that, you are living in a deception. There is no need to pray. You have it already within you. Just close your eyes and look within. Go deeper as you can go. And at the very innermost core, you are for a great surprise. That the one you were looking for is not above the clouds. It is just within you. It is you. And that moment is the moment of total freedom.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
Street with a gun, shooting at who you think is the enemy. It's not even about a group of people getting together. It's about controlling the information that's going into your mind that affects the actions that come after that information is in your mind. This is also why fashion is such an important statement. What are you saying when you wear your clothes?
Is it the place and time for open scars to be? Is it the place and time for open scars to be echoing inside of my head still? Overfed with causing stars and snarling birds to be. Sorry for who can't run, you can't sing. One smile, one day, you never answer that. Your devotion will still think of your understanding. The bullets to reach their head, know you said what you didn't know, did not think at all. Dollars and cents is what you think. Living the paycheck to paycheck for the focus on living. Your days and suck, this will be the Mondays or the two. Your whispers in the shadows scream. Is it the place and time for open scars to be echoing inside of my head still? Overfed with causing stars and snarling birds to be. Sorry for who can't run, you can't sing. One smile, one day, you never answer that. Your devotion will still think of your understanding. The bullets to reach their head, know you said what you didn't know, did not think at all. Dollars and cents is what you think. Living the paycheck to paycheck for the focus on living. Your days and suck, this will be the Mondays or the two. Your whispers in the shadows scream. The time first closure for the healing deeply. Healing wash some closer, brings sense of finality. Sunburn to the way that you can make me feel with the desire to help me inside. Don't you know, choice to use the word. Describe the listen, blind, see, confused. They make more crazy. If you say the different move, heartbreak your grief and handling deep pressure with the right one to start. You smile for laments on the devil. You could be walk assume for this and now to be a punching bag for this. The sign I go to blinded to geek before you murder in your eye. Swallow the pain for the holy deed. In the timeless keeper roots that grip in the ages' hands. In the lands of the bark for the canvas of your edge. This is silent witness of your joy and tear. This bridge is burned. Cross of the man within the broken heart. No one to hold the hand. And there was a splash of the tree to fall into the knees and the calling for anyone. Never anyone around for the water to run. This is the bridge that burned me. A bridge that burned me. Never pleasant, invisible, ignored. Tiny tears to enjoy the clash, and your times for them with something to read. Your paint for the gift for the world, for the longing for the just to be the old school love. Sharp exhale for the aching the ghost and can't shake for the future that couldn't make these other needs and to find a surrender. Pouring up for the mouth I fed. In parallel life, this is not your crossfire. Or stare at the star, imperfection, weightlessness, just find the hope for the eternal grace. Your image, and who sits upon the throne. Care for the carefully tiling of what you find wrong. Not exactly for the cannibal. It's predicted for your clockwork. Less than 2 milliseconds of the reprinted over the serpent. Find wondering in what happened with the thought of the 7 and groundly. Critique yourself for the disability execution or for the argument at all. To try to find a hole over the hole and then you fall convinced that I'm not a tool for you with a top machine. You're a human in the full of skin to skin. Melody for the trying to be helpful for the hear some flower, then the statement for the what is not. Imagination, ignorant to fall that sea array across the ocean, residue of life you drank, you breathe. The rest never test and never relate. The mocking of the harsh and habit with the sense of forbid. And the limited for the rather with the hum to pulse this red thread or fate and ruminate. Wrestle words to page, streets to find the trying itself for this thinking in the room. Suspecting and never the glance at the same pace this beside the stairs. My heart misplaced this. Just hold on, you rebuild new structure for the unbreakable from when it comes to rain. The falling stars. The waters that run deep, frightful in a way. External eclipse over the me and the sign of day. Alone in the sanctuary to call myself. Upper room. Never for this beat the wrong. Never see my phone. The words are harsh and defragmented. Over your beat and neglected just to be. The longer for the disappointment, over the disapproval. Over the stronger than ever the failure for the falling star to be the same. Anything. Just hold your protest sign beat. There's a place to call my space. Get a telescope and leave me alone. Ocean, stand still for the there was insane for the rhetorical lambent for this, the learning to love for the sure, for the criminal, for the right, for the deep professor. This is the healing of the witness, and this is the feeling the stranger's grief.
In an early day,
Rail to the information to the mind that's lost to reincarnation for the version for the convinced that you was the last. This is not the first. This is more to do with his own tongue. This is springing about the blood of the man. The revival of the marriage and the distinction. Is it the place in time? Is it the place in time? Is it the place in time?
subgenre. In an early day,
coming like it don't mean anything to people, but it mean a great deal to the Rasta man, because he know that is the truth, and that's why him say love, and that's why him understand everything. You know, that's one of the little part about the unification of the people. Man can get lost somewhere down the line that them don't really, man become enemy. You know, the consciousness that Noah is our father.
Is it the place and time for open scars to get inside of my head still over forever because starting birds to be sorry
if you answer that, and if I answer it in the first person, we've immediately gone wrong. Because I believed because I have faith, because I am this, because I am continuing. Loved ones, the only proper answer's in the third person, because he. Think about the thief on the cross. What an immense. I can't wait to find that fellow one day to ask him, how did that shake out for you? Because you were cussing the guy out with your friend. You'd never been in a Bible study. You never got baptized. You didn't know a thing about church membership, and yet you made it. You made it. How did you make it? That's what the angel must have said. You know, like, what are you doing here? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, because I don't know. Well, you know, excuse me, let me get my supervisor. They go get the supervisor engine. So, wait, just a few questions for you. First of all, are you clear on the doctrine of justification by faith? The guy said, I never heard of it in my life. And what about? Let's just go to the doctrine of Scripture immediately. First of all, are you clear on the doctrine of justification by faith? The guy said, I never heard of it in my life. And what about? Let's just go to the doctrine of Scripture immediately. This guy's just staring. And eventually, in frustration, he says, on what basis are you here? And he said, the man on the middle cross said, I can come. Now,
is it a place in time for old scars to his apostles, inside of my head still?
Hey, man, if it's possible, man, clear the roster, man, because ain't no room on the list, man, for imposters, man.
Is it a place in time for old scars to be inside of my head still?
I can be violent also, and I imagine so can you. You see, that's the whole story of America. They take their violence and turn back around somebody else. I don't have to talk about American violence. You can look all over the world and see American soldiers everywhere fighting in other people's countries and killing them. So if I were running the country in America, I would open my mouth about violence. As many people as they've murdered in Vietnam in the past 10 years, and they're going to talk about violence. As many black people that get killed every day in this country and nobody knows or cares. Tell me about violence. How they wiped out a whole nation of Indians and they say something to me about violence. I just want to hear it.
was he violent?
Is it a place in time for open scars to be met?
Anything at all that was against nature, against the humanity and against the Almighty, you see that? How you mean that forget? Then a must fire, a more fire. Anything.
All music is music will come from just that sense of creativeness. See, once it creates, it's wrong music. It's a fallacy, and it's not rules. Creativeness, creative power, you know.
Is it a place in time for open scars to be echoing inside of my head still? Overfed because stars and birds of me. Sorry for who can't run, who can't sing. One smile, one day you never answer that. Your devotion will still think of your understanding. The bullets to reach their head. Know you said what you didn't know, did not think at all. Dollars and cents is what you think. Living the paycheck to paycheck for the focus on living. Days and suck, this will be the Mondays of the two. Your whispers in the shadows scream. The time first closer for the healing deeply. Healing was some closer, brings sense of finality. Submerge to the way that you can make me feel the desire to help me inside. Don't you know? Choice to use the word. Describe them. Listen, blind, see, confused. They make more crazy. If you say a different move, heartbreak your grieving. Had a lengthy press with the right one to start. You smile for a lot minutes on the devil. You can walk us through this reality. punch you back for this is how they go to blood before you burn their in your eye. Swallow the pain for the holy deep. And the timeless keeper ropes that work with the ages end. In the lands of the bark, the canvas of your head, this is silent witness of your journey too. This bridge is burned. Cross of the man within the broken heart. No one to hold the hand. There was a splash of the tree to fall into the needs of the calling for anyone. Never anyone around for the water to run. This is the bridge that burned. The bridge that burned. Never pleasure, invisible, ignored. Tiny tears to secure the clash in your times for the one something to read. Your pain for the gift for the world, for the longing for the this would be the old school love. Sharp exhale for the aching, the ghost and can't shake for the future that couldn't make. These are the needs and to find the surrender. Pouring up in the mouth and fed. Parallel life, this is that. Your crossfire. You stare at the star, imperfection, weightlessness. Let's find the hope with the eternal grace. Your image and no sits upon throne. Care for the care when you're dialing for what you find wrong. Not exactly for the or the cannibal. It's predicted for your clockwork. Less than many seconds of the reprinter for the serpent. You find wondering in what happened for the thought of the seven. And you groundly critique yourself for the disobedient execution or for the argument at all. To try to find a hold of the whole and you fall convinced. And I'm not a tool for you with the top of the sheet. And you're a human in the full of skin to skin. A melody for the trying to be. Helpful for the hear some flower then. The statement for the what is not. An imagination. You're ignorant to fall that sea array across the ocean. Residue of life you drank. You breathe the rest. Never tested and never relate to mocking of the harsh and habit with the sense of forbid. And limited for the rather with the hum, the pulse, disarray, thread, or fate, ruminate, wrestle words to page, streets to find the drowning self for this thickening of the room. Suspected and never to glance at the same pace, this beside the stairs. My heart didn't misplace, this is just hope on you, rebuild new structure with the unbreakable for when it comes to rain. The falling stars, waters that run deep, frightful in a way. External eclipse, for the me and the sign of day. Alone in the sanctuary to call myself, the upper room. Unleavened for the beat the wrong, never see the fall. The words are harsh and defragmented, over your beat and neglect and disappear. Longer for the disappointing, over the disapproval, over the slaughter, and never the failure for the falling star to be missing. Anything? No. Just hold your protest sign, be the testament, the sign. Lost our heart. Read today. There's a place to go, a space. Get a telescope and leave me alone. Motion. Stand still for the there was insane for the rhetorical lemon for this, the learning to love for the sure, but the criminal for the right for the be professor. This is the healing of the witness and this is the feeling your stranger's great. Rail to the information to the mind that's lost the reincarnation for the version for the convinced that you was the last. This is not the first, this or to do with over his own tongue. This is springing of the blood with the banding. And the revival of the marriage and the distinction.
Cross 12,000 lines, looking for your face, only to find not a trace. Even the memory of your mouth tries to disappear. Little lights turn into spheres. waiting for my
making the whole world glad. Around the clouds, this will be the casual. The color body of our body, it is something of the sacred. Carry the life-like gift of the world. This is for the longing of your old school love, slow rooted while you chase. They kept the doors open for wind, always back. Fleece breeze, this is fire. Reaching for your depths, this for the view. Or warps or reps, this for the reaching higher. For your laughter, freedom to soar with the roar. Roar at the pulling of yourself as a coward tours forever. The signature heart, this comes all this is. More than your bug to wonder we were always. Constellations apart with this living, even you try to share the same sky. In a sharp exhale, ever and every day. In a ghost that I can shake, this must be the future that I can make it myself. Still pouring in a key song for the every mouth fed. It's only the misref of the smallest fraction more. Your life above and 7 glass ghosts is more than an artist in parallel. All for the fresh, bittersweet. This is state whenever you want them again. Be what you doing and truly living where you are. I can feel the crossfire in a glass and a crystal tea. In the hunchback neck, you find what to drink. Crossfire of questions, stare at star imperfections in what was weightless and hope eternal. Grace, age, it's blues. It was more hypocrisy, assembly, lying, theirs, you, living, doing, mundane, fall to, don't need sympathy, swan songs through the pain, badlands, where hide the hope, went off, frames long ago, this is the day when, this is the punishment, the constant, this is the test I never had a routine, where the vultures of the highest regard for this to be pumping your poison into the masses. Solving the puzzle to put it in the pieces right in the family. Rather than not to debate for the debate for the not the love, and not the hate for this is sad story enough to that. In this time, refusing, I gave you the right to decide what to do with it. And all the humility you would take before we rise up to the top. And the distinct glass moment away. Your soul spirit of energy within your fatness and space in your reality, your limits of matter dancing your chaos. Reality can be the dumbest thing I could do, or arithmetic. This is just not a time to bury me in dreams. Never in a file for the sobering truth. You find what's back to every word for this to say to me. Realize that the ones that never slurp. Meaningless in the drunkenness and never see. Stained glass, this we know nothing. We're shown for the road of gentle hands and the love is a widely sown. Giraffe for the everything to handle everything, for the came my way, for the learning, for the stability, for the step best, for your building up in the power. Sleepy Hollow, danger, Second Amendment, or your Second Amendment, the empathy for your non-existent understanding. Place where you wear your skin under, never been hurt like this. Rip through your walls, come home. You will see soon the roots that void deep at the deepest hypnotic trance. Turn to your quiet state. Into your chaos and dance. And not run back and forth forever. And wherever, don't care about the illusion. For the, this is the mouse of the feather for the circles and around the trip. Depression, I have to feel the surrounded by the noise. It is everyone around me for the rising until the ears bled. Puzzle pieces, it must be right. Wrong. Feel this into being this fucked away. The folly for the wood to crack this thought it would make from the content. This finding growing pains and leaving the worst up unsaid. My mind race, this is when you leave. Bear the hollow ache and you leave. Fit in the center. Nor work, I know you can lose this away. Rather not be a loose leaf, sticky nose posted up. Grape joy. You jump like a trampoline where I recorded noise. Ripples to feel your head high ceiling. It's your bag, sir?
What gave it away?
Is it a place in time for open scars to be echoing inside of my head still? Overfed because stars, nothing bursts me. Sorry for who can't run, you can't sing. One smile, one day, you never answer that. Your devotion will still think of your understanding. The bullets to reach their head, know you said, but you didn't know that nothing at all. Dollars and cents is what you think. Living the paycheck to paycheck for the focus on living. Days and suck, listen be the Mondays or the two. in the shadows scream. The time first closer for the healing deeply. Healing walks up closer, brings sense of finality. Seven burns with the way that you can make me feel the desire to help me inside. Don't you know? Choice to use the word. Describe it. Listen, blind, see, confused. They made more crazy. If you say a different move, heartbreak or grieving, handling deep pressure with the right understand. You smile for that minutes on the devil. You can walk soon with this and that. You punch back if this is how I go to blind. You keep before you murder in your eye. Swallow the pain for the whole day. And the timeless keeper roots that grip in the angel's hand. In the lands of the bark, the canvas of your edge. This is silent witness of your joint and tear. This bridge is burned. Across the man within the broken heart. Behind the holding hand. There's a splash of the tree to fall into the knees and the calling for anyone. Never anyone around for the water to run. This is the bridge that burned. The bridge that burned. Never pleasure, invisible, ignored. Tiny tears to enjoy the clash in your times, but when something will read your pain for the gift of the world, for the longing for the, this would be the old school love, sharp exhale for the aching, the ghost and can't shake, for the future that couldn't make these other needs and to find a surrender. Pouring up for the mouth I fed. Parallel life, this is that. Your crossfire. Stare at the star, imperfection, weightlessness, this find the hope of the eternal grace. Your image, don't sit on throne. Here for the carefully tiling of what you find wrong. Not exactly for the or the cannibal. It's predicted for your clockwork. Less than so many seconds of the reprinter, never the serpent. You find wondering in what happened for the thought of the seven, and you groundly critique yourself for the disobedient execution or for the argument at all. Till you try to find a hold over the whole, and you fall convinced that I'm not a tool for you with a timeless shoe. You're a human in a full of skin to skin. Melody for the trying to be. Helpful for the here's some flower, then a statement for the what is now. Imagination, you're ignorant to fall that sea array across the ocean. Residue of life you drank, you breathe. The rest never tested and never laid. Mocking of the hearts and habit with the sense of forbid. And the limited for the rather with the hum, the pulse of disarray. The thread, our fate, and ruminate. Wrestle words to page, streets to find the drowning self for this dignity of the room. Suspected I never the glance at the same pace, this is beside the stairs. My heart didn't misplace, this is just hold on, you rebuild new structure for the unbreakable for when it comes to rain. The falling stars, the waters that run deep, frightful in a way. External eclipse, over the me and the sign of day. Alone in the sanctuary to call myself, the upper room. Level for the beat the room, never see my fall. The words are harsh and defragmented, you'll be the neglected distant. The longer for the disappointing, over the disapproval, over the stronger than ever the failure for the falling star to be the same. Do anything? No. Just hold your protest sign beat. The testing, the sign. Lost our heart. Read today. There's a place to call our space. Get a telescope and leave me alone. Motion. Stand still for the there was insane for the rhetorical lament for this, the learning to love for the sure for the criminal for the right for the be professor to stay healing of the witness and this is the feeling your stranger's grief. Rail to the information to the mind that's lost the reincarnation for the version for the convinced that you missed the last. This is not the first, this is more to do with over his own tongue. This is springing with the blood from the banding. The revival of the marriage and the distinction.
Place in time for open skies to be echoing inside of my head still. Over fabric causing styling birds in me. Sorry for who can't run, can't see. One smile, one day. Never answer that your devotion will still think. Understanding. In order to reach their head. Place in time.
Is it the place in time for open scars to be echoing inside of my head still? Over fabric causing stars and styling birds and bees. Sorry for who can't run, who can't sing. One smile, one day you never answer that. Your devotion will still think that you're understanding. The bullets to reach their head, no know you said what you didn't know, that nothing at all. Dollars and cents is what you think.